What's going on, everybody? I'm Johnny Brook. Welcome back to another Crafted Workshop video. So this week's project, which is sponsored by Lowe's Home Improvement, is a little bit on the ridiculous side. So I took this live edge maple ingrained cookie slab, inlaid some redwood rings, and turned this into an axe throwing target. So this has been a project that's been on my list for a little bit now. Really glad I finally got to it. Definitely went obviously super overboard for an axe throwing target, but I think it turned out really cool. So let's go ahead and get started with the project.
All right, buddy, give her.
So this project had been on my to-build list since this past summer when I realized I was terrible at throwing axes. Now I could have built a simple target out of some dimensional lumber and called it a day, but I decided to go way overboard and build a target out of a live edge maple cookie slab. So one benefit to using a slab like this is that it's all ingrain, so the axe will have a better chance of sticking to the target, and the target will take abuse a lot better than a long grain target. So the first step in the project was to flatten the slab, and there are a ton of ways to do this. I've used a router sled in the past, which I have a video on, which I'll link to in the cards, but I decided to make my life simpler and put my robot, aka my Inventables X-Carve CNC, to work on this project. And a CNC is basically an automated router sled with much better dust collection if you think about it, and this slab happened to fit perfectly on the bed of the X-Carve. So I used this 1-inch diameter white side spoil board flattening bit to do the work, and it did a great job considering it was cutting into maple ingrain. I flattened one side, flipped the slab, and then flattened the other side. I also sealed both faces of the slab with de-waxed shellac while I worked on the other parts of the project, just to try and keep the slab from warping again. And cookie slabs are notorious for shifting around extremely quickly just due to all that exposed ingrain, and the shellac really seemed to help. Next, I needed to work on making the piece that would make up the target's rings. I decided to use some old redwood fencing that my dad gave me for this, plus a piece of cedar just to fill out the blank. I skip planed the boards at the planer, cut them to length with the miter saw, and then ripped them into strips at the table saw. And I was essentially making an ingrain cutting board here, so this process might look familiar to you. After ripping the strips, I arranged the strips into a nice pattern and then glued up the first blank, actually two blanks, one for the rings and one for the bow tie. After about an hour, I scraped off the glue and then passed the blanks through the planer again to flatten them, and then cut the blanks into more strips at the table saw. I needed to square up one end with my crosscut sled, and then I could use the fence to rip all the strips. So for the target rings, I needed to rip the blank into 1/2-inch strips to get an ingrain board that was big enough, so I started by making the first pass and then moving the fence over 5/8 of an inch between passes. And that extra 1/8 of an inch is just to account for the kerf of the blade. And I could have just set the fence to 1/2 inch and ripped the strips that way, but I much prefer to have more stock to hold onto rather than ripping thin strips. After ripping the strips, I flipped over every other strip to get a cool offset pattern and then glued up the blank. And the strips were pretty fragile at this point since they were so thin, so I had to be extra careful when tapping them into place with my mallet. I also repeated the same process for the smaller blank, but I cut those strips much thicker, about 1 1/8 inches, since this blank would become the bow tie, which I inlaid to stabilize that big crack in the slab. Next, I hopped into Easel, which is Inventable's free design software, and got the target modeled up, and I found a vector of a bullseye and imported that into Easel. Then I stretched the target into more of an oval shape so that it would match the oval shaped slab a little bit better, and then used Easel's inlay generator to create the two tool paths, one to cut the pocket in the slab and the other to cut the rings out of the redwood blank. Back at the X-Carve, I installed a 1/4 inch compression bit and then got to cutting the pockets into the slab. And this went really smoothly, and it's always incredibly satisfying to watch your digital design come to life on the actual workpiece.
All right, while the X-Carve is working, let's talk about the sponsor of this week's video, Lowe's Home Improvement, and the tools of this week, these awesome new items from S-Wing. So in case you don't know, S-Wing is probably one of the biggest names, especially in hammers. All of their products are American made, super high quality. All three of these items, these two axes and this hammer, are all single piece forged, which means they're crazy strong. There are no welds or anything. This is one of their framing hammers. It's got a magnetic nail starter on the top, and it's even got this sweet little nail puller on the side so that you can pull the nails in kind of tighter spaces. This little camp axe is super useful, great for obviously camping, splitting small pieces of firewood, that kind of thing. It's also pretty good for throwing, which I found out. And last is this sweet single-sided axe. This thing is got some awesome tactical styling, and the thing just looks amazing. And again, all three of these items, along with all of S-Wing's products, are American made, which is really cool. So if you guys want to learn more about these tools, check out the links in the video description below. Thanks again to Lowe's for sponsoring this week's video, and let's go ahead and get back to the project.
After the ring pockets were cut, I could cut the pocket for the bow tie using the same 1/4" bit, and I also cut a test bow tie out of some plywood just to make sure the fit was good, and it was just about perfect. Speaking of the bow tie, next I cut the bow tie inlay out of the smaller redwood blank, and also in case you're wondering, I'm just using double-sided tape to hold down the pieces here, and it worked like a charm. I'm halfway through adding T-track to my CNC, so I didn't have another great clamping option, and I'll link to my absolute favorite double-sided tape in the video description below in case you're interested. Before installing the bow tie, I needed to remove the tabs that helped keep the piece in place on the CNC, and I like to use a chamfer bit to do this, and the added benefit of chamfering the bottom edges of an inlay is that it gives you a little bit more glue area and also helps to guide the inlay into the pocket nice and easy. Next, I could glue in the bow tie, making sure to use plenty of glue, especially on the sides of the bow tie, since that's actually the long grain to long grain connection here. And I use Titebond 3 for the inlays since it's waterproof and should hold up really well to the elements. Once that was done, I could repeat the same process for the target rings, first cutting the rings on the X-carve, chamfering the bottom edge to remove the tabs, and then gluing them into place. And I had to get a little bit creative to apply clamping pressure to the center of the slab, but I used some strips of plywood and it actually worked out pretty well. After the glue dried, I decided I wanted to further stabilize that big crack with some epoxy. I used some Tyvek tape to seal the bottom and the side of the crack, which has an incredibly strong seal, and then made sure to use a pressure roller to get an even better seal. Next, I poured epoxy into the crack slowly in a thin stream just to allow as much air to escape as possible, and I had to do 2 pours to fully fill the crack. After letting the epoxy cure, I removed some of the excess with my trusty block plane, which makes really quick work of removing epoxy. I also planed off some of that protruding inlay just to make sanding a little bit quicker. And speaking of sanding, there was a ton of it on this project. This entire surface is ingrained, so it took forever, but I got most of the slab cleaned up with my belt sander off camera, and then I could remove the remaining bark with a chisel and mallet. And most of the bark had already fallen off, so this was really just to remove those remaining pieces. And this is an oddly satisfying process, especially when you hit the bark just right and it pops right off. After removing the bark, I cleaned up the edges with a random orbit sander and then continued to smooth out the surface of the slab. And I sanded everything up to 180 grit, which left a super nice smooth finish. For the finish, I went with teak oil, and I didn't want a film finish here as the axe throwing would cut right through it and cause it to end up flaking off over time. And teak oil is nice as it just soaks into the wood and protects it without forming a film, but it will need to be reapplied every year or so. Also, my freaking battery died right before applying the first coat of finish to the face of the target, which is a major bummer as that looked awesome, but here's a shot of the second coat being applied. After finishing, all that was left to do was to mount the target to the tree, and I decided to just use some chain to do this, so I first installed some eye bolts on the back face of the slab where I could attach the chain. And I cut the chain to length with my portaband, although a hacksaw would also work really great here. And to connect the 2 pieces of chain around the tree, I used a turnbuckle, which allowed me to tighten the chain and keep the target from moving around, and I also added some nylon webbing to help protect the tree. With that, all that was left to do was throw some axes at this gorgeous target, which I was honestly a little bit hesitant to do at this point, but it had to be done.
Yes! Yeah! All right, hopefully you guys enjoyed this one. This project, as I've mentioned, was pretty ridiculous, but I think it turned out pretty cool. One unfortunate thing is that this slab ended up a little bit on the thin side, only about 1.5 inches, maybe a little bit shy of that. And because of that, that made this slab a touch fragile. So as you might be able to tell, some of these chunks popped off. That was actually happening during the last throw. And I think what really made that worse was the fact that I drilled holes in this where I put the eye bolts, and that just kind of became a weak spot, and the whole chunk kind of popped off from there on this side and on that side. So I CA glued them back into place, so they're not going anywhere. But if I were to build this again, I would start with a much thicker slab. I think if this thing was 3 inches thick or something like that, it'd be a lot sturdier. Other than that, I think everything else actually worked out pretty well on this build. The way it's mounted to the tree is super bomb proof. It doesn't move around when it's hit with the axe and that kind of thing. And overall, it was just a really fun project and nice to kind of do something out of the box. So if you guys are interested in building something like this, I'll have links to all the tools and materials I used in the video description below. Thanks again to the folks at Lowe's Home Improvement for sponsoring this project. Again, this was a really fun one. And if this is your first time to the channel, go ahead and get subscribed. I put out project videos like this, maybe not quite like this, pretty much every week. Also Also, go ahead and ring that little notification bell so you don't miss any of my future videos. And last, I do have these new Build It Yourself t-shirts available through Teespring. They're available on tons of different merch, so I'll have links to those in the video description as well. So thanks again for watching, everybody, and until next week, happy building.